New World typically gets a really hard time for a number of different reasons. Some people share valid arguments and others are just jumping on the train of whatever is most popular to dislike in order to feel a part of something. Either way though, we can safely agree the game is not perfect, much like any other title. However, I feel like it's time we praised New World for the things that it does really well. In some cases, it does some of these things better than any other MMO on the market right now. New World is in an objectively better place than it was since launch, and it shows. Many new systems have been put into the game to aid the game's quality of life, and the content available to progress through moment by moment has been fleshed out a lot also. So I guess as a disclaimer before we start, if you haven't played since launch or never played at all, now would be a very good opportunity to jump in, have fun, and catch up before the big content drops happen in Season 10. With that said though, on to the video. First up, it only feels right to discuss the world building of New World, as for an MMO, it is second to none. Now, many people have commented on how the map could be bigger, myself included, but what actually is in the game to explore right now is nothing short of breathtaking. From the moment that you step onto the beach upon spawning in, one thing is very, very certain. New World is a visually stunning experience. Now, whilst graphical fidelity isn't always the key to MMO success, as we've seen in the likes of OSRS, it definitely helps to aid your immersion as you stumble around the mysterious island of Aeternum that you've been washed up on, uncovering its secrets, each darker than the next. Being able to physically travel to the elements of the map that you can see on the horizon in New World is a massive win for the scale of the game. Whether you're traversing the swamps of Weaver's Fen or hiking over the dunes in Brimstone Sands, if you can see it, you have the ability to go to it. The game boasts of some of the most richly detailed biomes that I have seen in any MMO to date, with a large majority of its world actually being fully interactable, either for quest items or for crafting materials. The island's nature, for example, not only serves as a means of gathering resource, but they truly add a flourish to whatever type of biome you're actually in. Lush forests are filled with hemp flowers, bulrushes, and mushrooms, whereas the likes of the desert biomes are filled with hardened mineral rocks and cacti. The animals and insects of Aeternum also flesh out the world by directly living within the habitats they most suit. In the natural caves of the world, you'll find bears, in wooded areas you'll find packs of wolves, and in more mountainous regions you'll run into lynxes and lions. Whichever way you turn in New World, you are absolutely sure to be amazed. Up next, we absolutely need to shout out the real-time combat. MMORPGs are often renowned for their storytelling, classes, and social components, but very few hit the nail on the head of a solid combat system, and it's such an important thing to get right. Many years ago, when I first discovered the Souls games, I thought to myself, I wonder how great this would feel if this combat style was placed into an MMO. Well, with New World, it's about as close as we're going to get, and it feels really great to take part in. Dodge rolls feel super satisfying to land, granting invincibility frames, and even opening up windows of opportunity to attack where you previously couldn't. The way you dodge even changes with your character weight, much like the Souls franchise too. Weapons which are designed to hit hard and feel heavy have a real weight to them and feel devastating to land blows with, and well, the more nimble weapons in the game feel fluid, fast, and stylish to execute coordinated attacks with. In my opinion, combat really comes alive when you find the weapon you have the most fun with. Now, to me, this was previously the Fire Staff and the Void Gauntlet, but I have now seen the ways of the bow and the rapier, and I do not regret it. New World has its flaws for sure, but one of them is definitely not the way that bows perform in this game. I would argue that using the bow is a mini game in itself, for when it comes to judging the range of enemies and the drop off of arrows, it's really interesting to see how the systems work. For example, knowing when to charge up an arrow for maximum damage and when to fire a volley of light, quick arrows can often mean a matter of life or death, in later fights. This can also often be the decider on whether you clear the content or not, depending on whether your DPS output was met. Beyond just the bow, all weapon abilities feel really great to press, and you look forward to them coming off of cooldown. Whilst they are on cooldown, you'll typically be mixing in a measure of light and heavy blows to truly get the most out of your weapon choice. Whilst not for everyone, especially if you're used to tab target games, New World offers some of the most unique, almost Souls-like combat that I've ever seen in this genre. Moving on now to the classless system in New World. Now, whilst I have been vocal about being a fan of classes in MMOs, and I do think it would be a cool thing to see in New World, I really can't take away from the fact that being able to change your weapons on the fly as you see fit is really flexible. Being able to set up multiple gear sets for different situations and then swap to them as and when you need to is really desirable, especially for those struggling to stick to one class. With only a small fee to re-roll your attributes and skills, New World does not punish you for trying new combinations out within the game. Let's say, for example, you are in a guild and they need a healer for an M3 run or a raid. Well, in most traditional MMOs, you would need to re-roll to another class, which means leveling up all over again, or just straight up missing out on that spot. In New World, providing your gear accommodates the weapons you are planning to use, then there really is no restriction. In fact, I would encourage everyone to try all of the weapons in the game and level them up as high as you can, as you never know what you might need one day. Many weapons also have dual purposes, like the Void Gauntlet and the Flail, which can not only DPS but heal too. Now, whilst they won't be as effective at healing if not spec'd correctly as something like the Life Staff, it is nice to be able to offer some flex healing in the moment if things go rough in a dungeon. Ultimately, as much as certain stats boost and favor certain weapons, the choice really is yours as to what you want to pair together. It might not make an awful lot of sense, but if you have fun with it, then who am I to stop you? Let's talk now about the sound design of New World, because this element of the game, without a doubt, is unmatched in any other MMORPG. From the ambient sounds of the world itself to the more man-made noises, this game really does present its audio incredibly well. The sheer mastery of the sound in New World is with you from the moment you start the game, from swinging a sword, casting from a fire staff, to firing a bow. Everything feels believable. Arrows zip through the air like something out of a Lord of the Rings battle scene, and listening to fireballs rain from above and smashing into the ground like rain from hell does not get old. Outside of the combat, the sound of minerals being mined by other players can be heard from miles away, bouncing and reverberating off of the surfaces of the land. Trees can be heard cracking and thudding as they are felled to the floor. Animals and beasts can be heard roaring and howling, whilst the many insects of the world are chittering and conversing with each other under the fauna. Towns are filled with jovial spirits, musical performances, tools and utensils clanging together. These elements are what makes the difference of a visually stunning game to a fully immersive game. We as humans rely on sound just as much as we do any other sense, and it's very clear when something is off. In New World, sound is absolutely one of the things I look forward to the most when playing. Lastly, I want to touch on something that has never been important to me in MMORPGs at all, but yet somehow really is in New World, and that is the crafting and gathering. From as far back as I can remember, the thought of collecting herbs or skinning animals would make my skin crawl with boredom, and I just would usually avoid it. I would focus mainly on battle content and main story progression instead. However, in New World, the game just sort of makes you want to do these things. I don't know whether it's the visual appeal of everything you interact with, or the sound the EXP bar makes once you've collected it, but this game really has a way of making you care about the little things. The many herbs of the game come in all shapes and sizes and have some incredibly striking differences to one another. Some which are found near water have more aquatic qualities, whilst others found in more mountainous regions can be seen breathing fire out of their petals. Many ores throughout the game also share the same differences, leading to that kind of magpie effect. I see something shiny, so I want to go and pick it up. Given that I mostly travel on foot unless I'm going a real distance, this means that I am readily available to collect whatever I stumble across on my journey. The more you collect, the more you begin to realize what you need and what's valuable to you. You then start to become accustomed to the many areas these materials spawn in. For example, some of the most valuable materials in the game are actually actually found within group content, which gives you another reason to take part in these besides gear. The whole time you are gathering and storing resources builds you up to going into a town and visiting the many incredibly well placed and displayed crafting stations to offload all of those hard-earned resources. Whether you are crafting a mere floor mat or a full set of heavy armor, there is always something to strive for. Maybe you have gathered enough materials to go and cook your favorite dish, or prepared food for your mount. The list truly is endless. Now, of course, not all crafted components are worth your time, but at least early on, they are definitely a way to dive into something that you might usually avoid. At the very least, for me, it gave me a way to explore the towns and the general layout so I can just get used to things a little bit more. All in all though, New World does a lot of things very well, and of course, I know the game is not perfect. It does have its downfalls, but I feel like where the game is right now, there is a lot to be praised. So I ask you, if you're still playing New World and you're enjoying the game, what do you enjoy? What do you feel the game does really well? I would love to hear from you down below in the comments. As always, I've been me, you've been you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.